Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Mowers and Mower. I went to Harbor Freight. That is never a good plan, man. If you got Harbor Freight's awesome, but if you walk through that place, you can't help but buy something. In this case, I picked up this. It's a 25-foot retractable air hose reel from Central Pneumatic. Of the Harbor Freight air reels, this is like the bottom tier. And that's okay. It's like, I'm not using a ton of air tools down here. Mostly I use my little Mower air compressor that I got for inflating tires. And sometimes blowing out, like if I got rat's nest, stuff like that, caught up in mowers, I'll blow out the fins with one, but that's about it. Now I have a long hose that is just dangling everywhere, and I don't like that. And I have a short one, which is 10 foot, which I find is just too small. This is gonna get all that stuff off the ground, which is nice so I don't trip over it, and give me a more kind of clean setup here. We're gonna mount this thing to the wall, and until I get it out of the box, honestly, I'm not exactly sure where I'm gonna mount it, but we're gonna go ahead and open it up right now, and we'll see what comes in it. I did buy, ooh, that was almost cut your fingers off, never cut towards you, right? I did buy an end for my tools, because it does not come with that. It's just got like a bare end on there. And the good news for me is it's a little smaller than I thought it would be as far as size-wise, what it's gonna take up on the walls. And we'll go ahead and rip this thing open. I don't see it, but I'm hoping it came with mounting hardware, because I really don't have anything down here big enough. Right off the top, I'm not seeing any mounting hardware. So if you're interested in buying this, it looks like you're gonna have to get some lag bolts to go with it. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. That's unfortunate. All right, so here it is. Now this is not swivel, so that's something else to keep in mind there. 3/8 retractable hose reel. Let's see if it's missing those parts or if it just doesn't come with it. Do not exceed 250 PSI. I think that's reasonable. 25 foot, 250 PSI, 1/4 inch NPT fitting on that. And so it's showing here that you can actually change the fitment of this. You can rotate it for where you mount it. For me, this will do just fine here. Mounting plate. Choose the mounting location is free of electrical wiring or other obstructions, sturdy enough to support the weight of the reel. Check for hidden wiring, then drill holes to accommodate 1/2-inch bolts not included. I'm not happy about that, to be honest with you, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess. I really would have thought that it would have included mounting hardware. So I'll have to find some of that. I'll bring some down here to get this thing installed. But as far as the unit itself, you know, the hose is consumer grade, but it looks pretty good. Got 4 rollers right here. So no matter which way you're tugging on this, it should center itself. And then the air line itself goes in here. On this side, it's got a cap. I'll have to take the cap off. And so I got a hose, like I'm not sure it'll even be long enough, honestly, but I'm gonna try to hook this in, and then this will go to the compressor. If not, I'll probably just use the 10-foot hose that I have been using, and I'll plug it into that. And that way I can mount it farther away from the compressor if I want to, because I kind of keep that compressor in the far corner of the shop here, because it just takes up a lot of room if it's wheeling it around the shop. All right, give me a minute here, and I'm going to figure out first how to mount this thing, and second, where to mount this thing. And then we'll do that, and I'll fire up the compressor. We'll see how well it works, if it leaks or whatnot. Let's do it. All right, well, here it is. You can see I pushed it as close to this wall as I can. 25 feet will get me all the way to the workbench on the other side, but more importantly, a lot of times the mowers I pick up got flat tires. We can use a winch to get them up onto the trailer, but this way I can put this right out the door here into the yard. When I get them unloaded, or even if I back the trailer up, we can get those tires pumped up and get them going on. As far as installation, like I said, no bolts, but I found some stuff to make it work. I did add one of these. I've had this thing. I've had about 4 of these that I bought. They cost $100 for a 4-pack back in the day. I don't know what they cost now, but it's kind of a cool thing. Instead of having the collar that you have to push down in order to take air tools on and off, it's just a single. It pushes down, on, locks, and you have a single button that comes off. I don't know if they sell that at Home Depot or at Harbor Freight, but it's in there. And then I used the original 10-foot hose. You can see here, I'll get the camera off the tripod here in a second, show you closer up. But Took some little wire wrap there and put it in here down to the bottom. Underneath the table that you can just see the corner of is where the Mowers compressor sits. So let me take the camera off the tripod. I'm gonna fire that thing up and we'll get it fully full of air and I can show you that it's working. But I mean, for bargain basement, I'm pretty happy with it. Certainly, it would have been cooler if it swiveled, but then I see when I install it, because this is kind of where I wanted it, got a window right here, and if it swiveled, that would come around and hit that, and I think that I'd end up needing a new window pretty quickly. So perhaps it's a good safety that it didn't come with it. Let me get the camera off the tripod. I'll show you close up what I did, and we'll wrap this video. So here it is. If you wanted to have the writing, it's on the other side. I didn't care. I mean, you can switch all this stuff around, but it does have a stop. So if you had this thing really close to the ceiling and you needed this area to drop like 4 feet, you can always adjust that. But for me, that was perfect. Seems to come out pretty fine. Pull a little harder, she rolls back in. And then this was not provided, so you do need to have a hose, a jumper hose, to go between this and the compressor. So I just used the old 10-foot piece that I had. There's a clamp there, there's a clamp there, and it puts it right up against the wall. And you come on down here, and here's our compressor, and you can see I just kept the connection on that and to turn it on. Now it does take a while for this Mowers compressor to pump up, but I'll be honest with you, this thing's pretty quiet too, so it's kind of cool. I'm gonna pause the camera, we'll let it fully air up, and we'll listen for leaks. All right, well the compressor is all the way pumped up. This little Mowers compressor actually really, I like this thing. It's, I mean, you wouldn't want to run a sandblaster off of it or something like that, but for the homeowner, the shop owner, like tiny stuff like what I'm doing here, this thing is awesome. All right, I've got the hose hooked up. Got it coming on up here, and I hear nothing. So it's got a good seal. Oops, I just turned my little fan on here. Not that time of year. I'll swivel that out of the way for right now, but yeah. So there it is. I like it. Anyway, Harbor Freight sells them if you want them. Central pneumatic 3/8 by 25 foot retractable hose reel. It's the basic base model, but it's getting the job done. Of course, if anything changes over the next year or so, I will definitely give an update to let you know that this thing fell apart or whatnot, but quality-wise, seems fine to me. Till next time, my friends, take care.